rule, our speech should be gentle and kind. That this is the general rule, right? Just like, the general rule is to fast in Ramadan, except when it brings harm, etc., right? Just like the general rules to keep close ties with kin and, relatives, except if it brings harm, etc. So in this case, that's the lesson that I get from that. And for me, it really plays in terms of parenting, because this is where we see a lot of harshness. And we see, or with our families, where we might be very polite with everyone outside of the house, but as soon as we get inside of the house, our tongue is very sharp. This type of thing. And the Prophet ﷺ, of course, told us, "Khayrukum khayrukum li ahli," right? The best of you are the best to their families. So I think, to me, that's the most immediate lesson from that, and just the general rule of gentleness. Now, in terms of strategy at a given time and place, well, it depends on the situation. Now, in this case, obviously, we know that one of the ways to confront or to oppose the oppression that we're witnessing is speaking truth to power. In whatever capacity we have, in our case, in our context, that is spreading awareness about the atrocities that are happening in Palestine. Educating, posting, advocating, that this is part of our tying of the camel, this is part of our taking action with our hand to try to stop an evil, and with our tongue. So that's how I understand it, given that the Prophet ﷺ told us that we have to, if we see something wrong, try to change it and take action with our hands and with our tongue. And that the weakest of faith is at least to hate it in our hearts. So this is part of our iman, all right? Now, how to do it obviously depends on where you are, when you are, and that differs from time and place. But the general rule still applies. The general rule is that generally gentleness is preferred, wisdom, and not being harsh. And I mean, we obviously see that even in spreading awareness about what's happening, we have to use wisdom in how we do it. And that doesn't mean that we pacify, it doesn't mean we stay quiet, but it means we have to speak, but we do it with wisdom. And generally, obviously, especially with the people closest to us, there has to be gentleness and not having that harshness that we think constitutes tough love. So that was kind of the message that I was trying to convey.